There's, among the 14 Manus, there's the first Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, and Manu number 6, which is before Manu number 7, is Chakshusha Manu. And there's a Varaha form that appears in both the Swayambhuva Manu and the Chakshusha Manu, and what the essence of what this presentation is going to be is drawing from Rupa Goswami's very nice composition, the Laghu Bhagavatamrita. We'll spend a lot of time with Laghu Bhagavatamrita. There's a description that Varaha appears in 2 different Manus during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, during the reign of Chakshusha Manu, and the details are somewhat different, somewhat similar. And the conclusion of Rupa Goswami is that what we're reading about in the Srimad Bhagavatam is Maitreya's description of these avatars, and he combines the 2 into 1. In the Bhagavatam, he doesn't differentiate between the white Varaha, Shweta Varaha, and the Rakta Varaha. He doesn't go into that. Rather, when he narrates, we'll see shortly, and this is just what this morning's class is going to be describing. He combines the 2. He doesn't differentiate between the 2. So this is the first of the 2. During Swayambhuva Manu, we'll hear some more scriptural references, but during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu, the earth plunges into the Garbhodak ocean. The demigods are very concerned. Varaha appears from the nostril of Lord Brahma. He plunges into the Garbhodak ocean and he lifts the earth from the Garbhodak ocean. There is not a discussion during the Swayambhuva Manu, we'll hear why that conclusion is reached, about Hiranyaksha. Srimad Bhagavatam certainly speaks about Hiranyaksha. Just to repeat, the appearance of Hiranyaksha is during the Chakshusha Manu, and he does his skullduggery, and Lord Varaha comes, and he rescues the earth, and he smashes Hiranyaksha. That's during a different Manu period. So here's Canto 3, Chapter 16, the same chapter we're reading from. If, with an attitude of devotional service, one hears and describes this auspicious narration of Lord Bore's pastimes, which are worthy of description, the Lord who is within the heart of everyone is very pleased. Nothing remains unachieved when the Supreme Personality Godhead is pleased with someone. By transcendental achievement, one understands everything else to be insignificant. One who engages in transcendental loving service is elevated to the highest perfectional stage by the Lord himself, who is seated in everyone's heart. So again, it's a nice painting of Sweta Varaha lifting the earth from the Garbhodak ocean. So here we go. This is a section of Laghu Bhagavatamrita we're going to hear from a number of times, because it's a Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami. It has one very simple topic: the avatars of the Supreme Lord as they appear in this world, because it's one of the 6 questions of the Bhagavatam, and he just focuses on that one. And it's a big book with lots of references. So here we go. 1.3.10 through 11. The boar avatar advented twice, first during Swayambhuva Manu Manvantar from the nostril of Brahma in order to lift up the earth, and the second time during Chakshusha Manvantar appearing from the water and killed Hiranyaksha. And then there's commentary. Sometimes Varaha is a wild animal of the forest. And sometimes he is a domestic animal. Sometimes he is dark as a rain cloud. And sometimes he is as white as the moon. The Rakta and Sweta. That's commentary. And going a little further in the same chapter, it is mentioned in the Vishnu Dharmottara that by the will of the Lord there was a sudden deluge during the reign of Chakshusha Manu. And it was during this deluge, during the Chakshusha Manu, that Varaha appeared, because the earth was within the deluge. That is, the lower portions of the universe were engulfed in water. So the Bhu Mandala portion was underwater, and Varaha appeared to rescue. Varaha appeared at that time to lift the earth up, which had become submerged, and also killed Hiranyaksha. That's the verse. And going a little further into this chapter, spanning several verses, I just made it simple. It is written that some avatars have abodes within the material universe. The words of Vishnu Dharmottara Purana are evidence for this. And he gives two examples. Nrit Varaha, or a domestic boar. Nrit Varaha, or a human form with a boar's head, is said to reside on Maharloka. So where's Maharloka? Maharloka is just above Swarga. And then there's three more planetary systems above Maharloka, but that's where this domestic, or a human form with a boar's head, resides, according to Vishnu Dharmottara Purana. Second, the beautiful and self-effulgent realm, Varaha Loka, touches the material universe as it stands beneath everything. As it stands beneath everything. So he explains, below the seventh Patala Loka, and the planet known as Kalagni Rudra. So it's at the bottom of the universe. That's the four-legged Varaha. There, in the form of Sweta Varaha, the Supreme Lord resides. So this is description of his residence. And there's more than two, but two make their appearance and do pastimes. Those are the Leela avatars. Next, going further, the first day of the month, this is the month of Brahma. First day, there's 30 days in a month. First day in the month of Brahma is called Sweta Kalpa. The Kalpa is a day of Brahma. So Kalpa Beta, different days of Brahma. The first day in the month is called Sweta Kalpa. The present Kalpa is the Varaha Kalpa. The first day of the first month of the second half of Brahma's life. What's that? There's a Sanskrit term that says Brahma's life is divided into two. And parada is one half, and the second Prarardha is the second half. So at the end of the first half of the life of Brahma, there's a partial devastation. And at the beginning of the second half of the life of Brahma, the water subsides. And as the water subsides, this is the Sweta Kalpa, where Lord Varaha appears. Bhakti Baladev Vidyabhusan's commentary, the Sweta Kalpa mentioned here is also known as the Sweta Varaha Kalpa. Jiva Goswami mentions the same in Tattva Sandarbha. Sweta Varaha Kalpa is the day of Brahma in which Lord Vishnu's incarnation as a boar had a white body. So that's the Sweta Varaha. It appears in Sweta Varaha Kalpa. So that's during Swayambhuva Manu. You with me? Good. It gets a little more technical. And from the Bhagavatam 3.11.35, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments the same. The first day in the first Parardha is called Brahma Kalpa or Sweta Varaha Kalpa. Now, the above commentary said it's the second Parardha. But here, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying it's called the Brahma Kalpa. Back to Laghu Bhagavatamrita. There's the verse and then there's commentary. What's in white is commentary. At the beginning of Brahma's day, during Swayambhuva Manu's reign, his two sons did not yet have offspring. One hears only of the birth of his sons and daughters. Thus, listen carefully, at that time, this is the beginning of the day of Swayambhuva Manu, the first day of Brahma's life. At that time, there were no prachetas, Daksha, or Diti. Swayambhuva had a son named Uttanapada. Right? 6th canto, Uttanapada, the father of Dhruva. But that's not during Swayambhuva Manu, it's later. And in his line, the prachetas appeared. Their son was Daksha. He had a daughter named Diti. Diti was married to Kashyapa and Hiranyaksha, and bore Hiranyaksha. So it's logic. He's taking scriptural references and saying we should understand that there's two Varahas. And the Varaha that killed Hiranyaksha did not happen at the very beginning of Swayambhuva Manu's reign, because there was no prachetas and dakshas and thises and that's and diti, and all of that didn't happen yet. So therefore there's a second one. Just logic from scriptural reference. Commentary. Thus, since Hiranyaksha was born long after the Swayambhuva Manvantar, the first Boar avatar, who appeared during Swayambhuva Manu's time, could not have killed him. He wasn't born yet. Therefore, it should be understood that when the first Boar avatar appeared, he simply lifted the earth from the ocean. Anyone confused yet? We'll step back, because that's what this whole class this morning is. There's two. During the life of Brahma, there's many days. And during those days, there's 14 manus each day. And he, Rupa Goswami, is consulting scripture. Vishnu Dharmottara is one of them, but there's others, so we'll see. Concluding, there are 2 Varaha appearances in each day of Brahma. But each day of Brahma, there's different manus, and so there's Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, where there's 1 Varaha, and there's another appearance where he kills Hiranyaksha, which is not Swayambhuva Manu. And then he's not specifically giving the scriptural reference, but he's saying during that first appearance of Varaha, there's no Hiranyaksha killing, because he wasn't there yet. But there's the lifting of the earth. And so that's one of the 2 Varaha appearances during each day of Brahma. Moving along, 2 verses later, Matsya Purana is being referenced. It is mentioned in the Matsya Purana that there was a pralaya. What does pralaya mean? Partial devastation. Because the total devastation it's all over, it's finished. Partial devastation, pralaya, during Swayambhuva Manu's reign because of a curse of Agastya Rishi upon Swayambhuva Manu. What was the curse? Now how can Agastya curse Manu? It's pastime. That's how it can happen. So he's a Brahmana, and Swayambhuva Manu is a Kshatriya, one of the 12 Mahajans, but still his service is that of a Kshatriya, and the Brahmana Agastya doesn't say from Matsya Purana what ticked him off to curse Swayambhuva Manu, but he cursed Swayambhuva Manu, that during your reign there's going to be a partial devastation. And there was. And during that partial devastation, the earth became submerged. Partial means the waters of the Garbhodak ocean rose, and the 7 lower plus Bhu-loka, Bhuvar-loka, and up to Swarga-loka. Partial devastation. And Varaha appeared. So here's some nice paintings. Here's Lord Varaha rescuing the earth on his tusks. Another nice painting of Lord Varaha rescuing the earth on his tusks. Another nice painting of Lord Varaha rescuing the earth on his tusks. So these are Leela avatars. In some cases, the earth is shown as the earth, and some cases, like here, it's both the earth and Bhu Devi, the earth personified. Here's a BBT painting and another BBT painting. Now this is Sweta Varaha, but the artist did what they did, and he's not white. But the first one I showed you, he's white. And here's another. So now we're going to go to Chakshusha Manu. You ready? This is Manu. Varaha number 2. Chronologically after is Chakshusha Manu. It is mentioned in the Vishnu Dharmottara that, by the will of the Lord, there was a sudden deluge during the reign of Chakshusha Manu. So the first deluge happened because of a curse of Agastya. This one happened because of the will of the Lord. Varaha appeared at that time to lift the earth, which had become submerged, parentheses, and also killed Hiranyaksha. That's the translation of that verse. Going back 2 verses earlier, we thus conclude that Sri Varaha enacts his pastimes at 2 different times, and that Maitreya combined the incidents from both of the histories in his answer to Vidura's question. Vidura had some questions about avatars. So in response to his question, he did differentiate between the two. He initially spoke of Varaha appearing from the nostril of Brahma, which is during Swayambhuva Manu, and he plunged into the Garbhodak ocean. And then these details are described in Rupa Goswami's verses of Laghu Bhagavatamrita, how he merged the two or combined the two without differentiating the two, but he shifted over to the Hiranyaksha killing incident, which was during a different Manu. And Lord Varaha did not appear during the Chakshusa Manu from the nostril of Lord Brahma. What do we know? We know from Scripture, and our acharyas help us understand. Here's Canto 6. The verse in Canto 6 is describing Daksha, which we heard he did not appear at the very beginning of Swayambhuva Manu's reign, so it's during this another reign. And there's details which I am not going into. Prajapati Daksha begets 60 daughters who get married and have many offspring. There's some of the daughters that became entrusted to Kashyapa. 13, you can count them, the 13 ladies. And they gave birth to different species. That's what the painting is showing. This one, this species, that one, that species. Thus the universe becomes filled with various kinds of living entities. Human beings, demigods, demons, beasts, birds, and serpents. Among Kasyapa's 13 wives, Aditi gave birth to the demigods, while Diti gave birth to the Daityas, because Daitya means sons of Diti, or Daityas. And one of those, Hiranyaksha. So specifically described in the 4th canto Bhagavatam, this event occurred during Chakshusha Manvantar. Anyone confused? You're all okay. Thank you. So now comes some nice paintings. There's nice paintings of Varaha rescuing the earth and dealing with Hiranyaksha. He's rescuing the earth, depicted in a different way, and down at his feet, there's poor Hiranyaksha. And there's Hiranyaksha depicted at the bottom, and there's Lord Varaha rescuing the earth. And they're demigods celebrating his nice achievement. And in this painting, it doesn't show how he's killing. We'll hear in a moment. There are different references in the Srimad Bhagavatam, ways in which Hiranyaksha was killed. Some say this and some say that. So here's a very colorful painting. There's demigods and there's demons, demigods up above and there's demons down below, and Hiranyaksha is getting smashed. Here's another interesting painting. He's already smashed. He got smashed by his club. Although that's not within the Bhagavatam, doesn't mean it didn't happen. And similarly with his club. And he's lifting the earth with his tusks. Similarly lifting the earth with his tusks. Here he's smashing with his club again. There's a carving, some are paintings, some are carvings. Down below, there he is, Hiranyaksha getting trampled with the hoof of Lord Varaha. Another nice painting. There's earth, the mother Bhumi, being lifted. He's not on the tusk of Lord Varaha, he's on his lap. And another nice carving. So here's from Varaha Purana. There's this phrase that's used in Vaishnavism. Particularly, it's celebrated, we'll see in a moment, amongst Sri Vaishnavas. They have their Charama Sloka. And here's from Varaha Purana, they name it Sri Varaha Charama Sloka. Charama means highest teaching, Charama Sloka. So there's the Sanskrit. I'm going to read the translation. When a person whose mind is sound, body is in good health, and all mental and physical faculties working perfectly intact, thinks that I, this is Varaha speaking, that I, that's Varaha, am indeed the very cause of this universe, or Vishvarupam, I am without birth, mam ajam, then I assure you, O Devi, that I will remember this devotee of mine when he or she is on his or her deathbed, lying helplessly like a stone or a log of wood, and personally takes him or her to the supreme abode. From Varaha Purana. Here's from the Charma Sloka from Ramayana, mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita and is abundantly mentioned in Sri Vaishnava literature. This is Ramachandra speaking at the time of Vibhishan's surrender. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders to me, saying, "My dear Lord, from this day I am yours," and prays to me for courage, two things, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. So this particular sloka is a sloka that divided Sri Vaishnavism into two. You aware of that? Sri Vaishnavism has there's Sanskrit terms, but a northern and a southern division. And one division says just once, and the other says ongoing. Once sincerely means ongoing. No, just once. And they had big issues philosophically, and they split. To this day. They're Sri Vaishnavas, but this is an issue for them. There's some other things. And now we're going to be being given the opportunity to hear a nice recitation, noting the sound system is going to work. Real tech, right? Real tech? This is some nice verses about
Sri Varaha Puranantargata Sri Varaha Charama Shlokam.
It's nice.
Hite manasi suspasti Sharire satiyo naraha Dhatu sam yesthite smarta Vishvarupam cha mamajam Tatastam riyamanam tu Ashtapashana sannibham aham smarami madbhaktam nayami paramam gatim.
Short. we saw the translation already. In Tirupati, most of you, probably all of you know where Tirupati is, there's a Varaha Swami temple going up the hill to get to the main temple at the top of the hill. And from the Brahma Purana, there's a description which they follow to this day. The Bhoga offerings are first offered to the Sri Varaha Swami Murti. And it's recommended that before going to the main temple at the top of the hill, pilgrims should visit the Sri Varaha temple prior to the Venkateshwara temple. And the rest of it is the hill itself. Tirumala was originally known as Adivaraha Kshetra. He has a very important role to play in Tirumala. Now we'll go to what we've been hearing a little bit. Not going to be too much longer. This is a nice painting. There's Maitreya sitting underneath this little cave-like thing. And he's being asked questions by? Yeah, Vidura, right? So that's the section that you've been reading from in your morning class. So in that discussion, there's Diti approaching Kashyapa at the wrong time, requesting children. And he said, it's the wrong time. So as a result, you're going to have not nice children. And then the rest of the description is, at that time, there's the 4 Kumaras coming to the gates of Vaikuntha, and they're checked by Jai and Vijay, and the Kumaras say, you're not qualified to be residents of Vaikuntha. You should leave Vaikuntha. Here's your choice, this or that. We'll take 3 births as demons. We'll get back more quickly to fulfill a desire of the Supreme Lord for pastimes. So the first appearance of Jai and Vijay were Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And there's a nice painting of Hiranyaksha. He is residing in a palace, a demon palace, and he decides to leave the demon palace and cause a disturbance in the universe, particularly with relation to the earth planet. And that's in this Chakshusha Manu period, and Lord Varaha appears and deals with Hiranyaksha. I'm just summarizing very quickly because you've been reading and will continue to read the rest. And here's another nice painting. He's dealing with Hiranyaksha. And the killing of Hiranyaksha in the Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 1, says, the first of the 2, Hiranyaksha, appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusk. However, later, 3rd canto, he, Hiranyaksha, was struck by a forefoot of the Lord. So you'll be hearing that shortly. So here's where he's bonking him in the head with his club. Rakta Paraha. Here he's chopping him with his Sudarshan chakra. Now, it doesn't mean that in different days of Brahma, different events, different ways of dealing with Hiranyaksha didn't take place. So maybe it's the creative artist who just made it up, or maybe it's from some actual scriptural reference saying it happened this way. Here's a nice ISKCON devotee, Vrindavan Das. And here's a very ancient Murti. Part of it's got damaged, but there's Hiranyaksha at the bottom, and there's Bhumi being rescued by Varaha. We're almost done. Another nice painting. The whole series. And a mask, Lord Varaha. A carving in some temple. Another temple carving on the outside of the temple. And here's the last one. Here's another nice painting of Lord Varaha. He's not doing anything, just posing. So I thought it'd be nice to go through this because it's Varaha's appearance day, and because in your morning class you're reading from the section of Maitreya's giving this description of these two Varahas, but without differentiating between the two. And so we taking the assistance of Rupa Goswami to hear much more about the form of the Lord. I mean, how can you write the Laghu Bhagavatamrita is that thick? It's just avatars. But you see details and details and details and details. So I think that details are nice. So as you continue reading, you can be unconfused because now you understand what's going on. Any discussion? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I remember reading in Laghu Bhagavatamrita that on the what is that, the elemental earth, elemental covering of the universe, Varaha Deva is worshipped opulently by Bhudevi. And I was just wondering, since all the incarnations of the Lord are there in the Vaikuntha planets, is Varaha also has a place in the Vaikuntha planet? Or?
The description, my memory is very poor. My memory says absolutely, but whether the Lord takes the form of Varaha or takes the form of Narayana, or he appears differently, because this is from Brihat Bhagavatamrita, he appears differently according to the devotion of the devotee. He appears in the same place, this way, to this devotee, and that way to a different devotee in the same place. The Lord appears according to the submission of the devotee. That's my Brihat Bhagavatamrita memory. So he resides, yes, but it may be in the Narayana form, or it may be he shows his Narayana form to some devotees and he shows his Varaha form to other devotees. But it's the same personality. And they see what they see because of their devotion. And he reciprocates with their devotion on the Vaikuntha platform.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
And one more thing is, in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, I read that the Varaha appears in blue and white color, but we always hear about
Red.
Rakta. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about the blue one. You can show me. Not right now, obviously, but you can find the reference and send it to me, and that'd be nice. Anything else? In back, behind you.
Hi Krishna Guru Maharaj. My question is on Sunday Peace Lecture. Do I ask?
Okay.
So in this one, Maharaj, there's if you are finding fault in other, your heart is honeycomb with the same fault. So my question is that since when I contemplate on this word, so I was thinking I have so many fault in my heart, and second is if I find fault in my kid, if I find fault in my some country, or finding fault in other means some other impersonalism. So how we relate that one? So
Simple.
That's what.
Keep it simple.
Okay.
You want to say something more?
No.
Okay.
No.
There's a difference between discrimination and fault finding. So stay on the side of discriminating. You see, this is red, this is black, this is green, this is blue, this is this mode, this is that mode, this is dharma, this is our dharma. You discriminate. Fault finding is something else. Now, your question in specific was with your children, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So as a parent, as a protector of dependents, you're to discriminate. And then select from a menu of possible things from a good discriminator what's appropriate for this circumstances, and then another circumstance could be different than another circumstance. And if you're not fault-finding as a mother, you're discriminating and acting as a protector of your dependents. There's a big difference. World of difference. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Welcome to the realm of parenting. Big challenge. You have something?
Guru Maharaj, is it Rakta Varaha or Shweta Varaha whose appearance is on the Dwadashi day that we are observing today?
If you're a reader of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which you are, there isn't a differentiation between the two.
Okay.
Both. Srila Prabhupada ki? Oh, something online. Okay, that's good.
So this is from Rupa Shri Mataji. Guru Maharaj asking for a concerned father whose son is extensively reading Srimad Bhagavatam. So my friend received Bhagavatam 2 years back, and her son, 11-year-old, engaged immensely and finished up till 5 cantos. So his mother is very happy. Dad is happy, however, is worried that his son will be deprived of worldly life.
So his son will get what?
Will be deprived of worldly life
Worldly life. Oh no.
and might become a sannyasi.
Oh no. He should go check with Madhyageha and find out what to do.
So that's what she was referring. We heard from you that exalted personalities like Madhvacharya's father was reluctant being a sannyasi, reluctant of Madhvacharya being a sannyasi.
Okay. But that's they're not here right now. But Arudha Mataji raised her 2 children on the bread and butter of Srimad Bhagavatam. That was their menu. And they became grahastas. So, to each his own. Some will this, some will that. Attachment and detachment are a very important principle of spiritual life. So don't worry about detachment. It is going to be according to the nature. And if someone is immature, they may not have a proper application of the principle of detachment, but, time will take care of that. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.